Hi, my name is Taylor Boudreaux. Welcome to the Napa Valley Grill. Today I'm going to demo a very simple way to pan sear fish with skin and get nice crispy skin. And then we're going to serve it with some sauteed mushrooms. Thanks, gracias. We're going to serve it with some sauteed mushrooms, some parsnip puree, and a little beurre blanc. The parsnip puree, so simple. I'm not even going to show you how to do it. 30 seconds or less. All you do is you take some parsnips, peel them, a little bit of cream, cook them until they're nice and tender, put them in a blender, blend them until they're nice and smooth, season with salt, and you're done. Let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to start with is a nice pan, and we're going to get it nice and hot. And you actually want the pan to smoke a little bit before you put your fish in. So while we're waiting on that, a beautiful piece of coho salmon. It's wild, it's in season, it's super fresh. I've gone ahead and seasoned it with a little bit of salt and black pepper. You can use white pepper if you prefer it. So now we've got our pan smoking. We're gonna add in a little bit of my blended oil, just enough to coat the bottom of the pan. You always add oil to a hot pan, and what that does is it helps to season the bottom of the pan, and that's going to keep things from sticking to your pan as you cook. So the oil's starting to smoke, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to lay it skin side down. And your fish, when you put it in that hot oil, it's going to want to tighten up on you. So I'm just going to take my fish spatula and I'm just going to press down on it until the fish relaxes a little bit, and then I'm going to get a nice even sear all the way across the skin of this fish. And so we're just going to cook this until the bottom of the fish is a nice golden brown. And what we'll do is we'll just keep peeking. Let's keep looking, and when it's nice and caramelized, then we'll flip it over and we'll throw it in the oven to finish it. It's the best part, just gotta wait. We got some nice color on the fish. So then this is the best part, the easy part. You just take this and you throw it into your oven. So we're going to put it in the oven, 350 degrees. It's going to take us about 8 minutes to cook this fish to a nice medium rare. So while our fish is cooking, we're going to work on sauteing up the chanterelle mushroom. So you can use any mushroom that you can find. I happen to be getting these. These are wild out of Oregon. They're just beautiful, beautiful mushrooms. They're nice and dry. So the same thing, you want to get a nice pan nice and hot, and then you're going to let it smoke a little bit, and then we're going to add in a little bit of olive oil. And we're going to coat the bottom of the pan. Wait for it to smoke a little bit. And we're going to add in the mushrooms. You should hear it sizzle right away. And then we're going to get just a little bit of color on these. So these chanterelles, we paid a lot of money for them. And one of the great things about them is that they're just beautiful. They're bite-sized. They got a great presentation. So I'm not going to cut them and chop them up. I'm going to keep them whole so that they look beautiful on the plate. All right, so we're still smoking, getting some color on them. And then I'm going to take one garlic clove. I'm not even going to cut it up. I'm just going to smash it with my palm. I'm going to throw it in there. I'm going to take a little bit of thyme and throw it in there. You don't want to flame your pan at all, because that's going to give you a real gassy taste. Anytime they show you chefs flaming pans, and real chefs, they actually don't like to do that because it makes things taste like kerosene. So we're going to add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and I'm going to throw in a little nub of butter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow that butter to brown, and that's going to give my mushrooms just some great, great flavor, a nice nutty flavor. And that's it. They're done. Look at the beautiful brown on the butter. We are good. We're just going to set that right there. So I've got my parsnip puree. You can make it ahead of time and refrigerate it, and then when you want to bring it back up and get it ready to put on the plate, just put it in a little saucepan, and then you just give it a stir. And if it's too thick, you can add a little bit of cream, or you can add in a little pat of butter. Butter never hurt anything. So we've chosen to use parsnips for this because they're in season. You could do a potato puree, but everybody does a potato puree, so why not do something a little bit different? And your guests will actually be surprised because they'll expect some potato puree, but they'll get like just a great sweet parsnip taste. And parsnips, the other white carrot. Very similar in flavor profile, and you could do the same thing with carrots. You could do a carrot puree. We do turnip purees. It's just super simple. It's just a little bit of cream, enough to make it soft. Use the cream to adjust the consistency of your puree, season it with salt, and you're done. So we're going to check the fish, and then we're going to go ahead and make our sauce, and then we're ready to plate. So we're going to make the easiest sauce for fish in the world. We're going to make a beurre blanc. And basically beurre blanc, it's a butter sauce using a little bit of white wine. We're going to add in a little bit of lemon as well. If we use red wine to make this sauce, it would be called a beurre rouge. So my sous chef has been nice enough to get this all ready for me. I've got a little bit of white wine. I've got some lemon. We wrap this in a little bit of cheesecloth so we don't have to worry about the seeds. I've got some peppercorn, some salt, and some butter, and that's all you need. So we're going to take the white wine and put it into our saucepan, and we're going to reduce that down by about 2/3. And what that's going to do is it's going to concentrate that wine flavor. It's going to release all the alcohol, and it's just going to give us a nice concentrated flavor. So we'll let that go. Be careful not to burn it off. Now we wait. Aromatics blossom, and what you're doing is you're allowing the natural oils of the thyme and the garlic and the peppercorn to really infuse with the wine, and you're going to get all those flavors in the sauce. Because when we plate it, we're actually going to leave all that stuff in the pan. So all we really want are those natural oils. All right, so our white wine's almost done reducing. We got all these nice concentrated flavors. So what we're going to do is we're going to just super easy. We're just going to throw in some butter. And monter à beurre means just to swirl the butter around. You're going to create an emulsification between the fat of the butter, the liquid of the wine, and you're going to create a sauce. This is a very forgiving sauce. Now, you can, as we're stirring this around, it's already starting to come together. If the sauce breaks on you, then you just want to add a little bit more liquid back into it, like a little bit of lemon juice, maybe a little bit of water, and it'll all come right back together. If it seems really, really thin, like your ratio, it's not real saucy, it's still a little too thin, then just reduce some of the butter out, some of the water out of it. And then it's just a beautiful, beautiful butter sauce. So we're actually going to turn our heat down. We're going to give it a nice pinch of salt. We're going to squeeze some lemon juice in there to give it some flavor. We're going to stir it around. And at this point, you can do one of two things. You could, well, at this point, you actually want to taste it. That's fabulous. Now, you could, at this point, strain it and take out the peppercorns and take out the garlic. You can just pull them out. You know, when we go to plate, you can just kind of plate around it. And then that's actually what we're gonna do. We're just gonna make sure that before we put it on the plate, that there's nothing, no peppercorns in the spoon. And then to hold this, you just wanna set it on the back of your stove so that it stays warm, not hot, and it'll hold like that for a little while. And if it breaks, heat it up, add a little bit of liquid to it, it'll bring it back together, maybe throw in a pat of butter. It's a very forgiving sauce. So we've got this beautiful piece of fish just come out of the oven. We're still right and around medium rare. So we're gonna put it back on, whoop, wrong one. We're gonna put it back onto the oven, the stove top. And we're gonna let it, put it on a medium to low heat. And then we're gonna add a piece of garlic. We're gonna add some thyme, and we're gonna add in some butter. And what we're gonna let that do is we're gonna let that butter brown, and as it browns, we're going to baste the fish with it. So the fish, that super hot fat, as it coats the fish, it's gonna crisp up the skin, it's gonna help cook the fish, it's gonna give it some more flavor as the butter browns. And with that thyme, it's going to give it some great, great flavor. I mean, you can't smell this, but this smells amazing. I love cooking with thyme. It's one of my favorite herbs. It goes with everything. You can put it in salads, you can put it with vegetables, you can put it with fish, meat. Very versatile. So, see how my butter is brown, but it's not burnt? And if it gets brown really, really quick, then just pull it off the heat and baste off the heat. All right. So then we're done basting. As simple as that. Our fish is ready to go. And we're ready to plate. Remember, we've got a couple different components going on here. We've got our the parsnips puree, which was too easy to demo. We're gonna make sure it's nice and hot. And we're just gonna put a little right in the middle. We're just gonna make a little bed right there. That's easy. And then we're gonna take our mushrooms, and we're gonna take just the mushrooms, the garlic and thyme we're gonna leave behind. I'm going to put some right there, put some right there, we'll put one right there. And we're going to take this beautiful piece of salmon. I'm using a fish spatula to handle the salmon. The fish spatula, this is kind of a cool piece of equipment. It has a tapered blade on the end, and it makes it real easy to get underneath that fish. And the one thing that I didn't talk about is that when you're putting this down, skin down, it'll come up on its own. So let it come up on its own. Don't try to force the piece of fish off. It may take you a couple times to get it just right, but you'll figure it out eventually. So I've patted off the extra oil, and I'm going to plate my salmon right there. It's beautiful. And then I've got my beurre blanc. See, my beurre blanc's starting to break a little bit, so I'm just going to stir it. So it brings it right back together. I'm just going to drizzle it all the way around the plate, get a little bit on the fish. And then I'm going to take some microgreens as a garnish and just put it right on top.